Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and I am here to talk about DLSS, AI technology, and everything of that sort, because this has been quite a big talking point in PC gaming recently, and I feel like there's quite a lot of layers to this discussion. Obviously, recently, with the reveal of the RTX 5070, 5080, 5090, 5070 Ti's in there as well, there's been a lot of talk, and NVIDIA gonna NVIDIA as far as their marketing and their promotion of their video cards, utilizing DLSS, having lofty claims, and claims that will generate a lot of traction on social media and garner a lot of headlines. Like, let's be honest, that quote of the RTX 5070 is outperforming the 4090, that got a lot of attention. I mean, that was a big thing on social media, and I love that Twitter and X now has the impression stat available, because you just see some of these tweets that are, I don't want to say regurgitating, but, they are promoting the 5070, being better than the 4090, and just seeing the amount of engagement, impressions, it's just like, man, that was a simple statement by NVIDIA, but think about how much promotion and how much advertising that they got based on that. On top of that, the headlines, clicks, etc., etc. That creates a very obvious reason on why things like that are said. Now, obviously, things like that are said without complete context, right in the headline of, oh, this is the 5070 utilizing DLSS, frame gen, and everything like that. And it has become a big discussion point in PC gaming in general, and that is AI technology, the future of PC gaming as far as GPUs go, and it more so leaning on things like DLSS, FSR, as well as frame gen. Now, let me say that, again, this is a topic with a lot of layers to it, and let me first say that I find DLSS, FSR, less so FSR, even PSSR on the PlayStation 5 Pro, I find all of that technology incredible. I find the upscaling, I find the performance that we can get out of these games, it's fantastic. Even frame generation, as sloppy as frame generation can be, I find frame generation to be incredible tech that is still, I don't want to say at its infancy, but it's at a level where it can very much evolve over the course of the next few years. But I find the technology incredible. The fact that we're playing these games at a high resolution, getting great frame rates, like seeing some of these games that look so good, like in Indiana Jones, and being able to run that game at 4K or 1440p on lesser hardware, that's fantastic. A Final Fantasy 16, even with how sloppy of a port that is, that's fantastic. However, then you get into the murky territory of, is DLSS, is frame gen being utilized as a crutch in a way to get away with less optimized PC versions? And you can't say that this is something that applies to all games. It absolutely does not. There's a lot of games that are incredibly well optimized, that run incredibly well given the visuals that they are putting forward. And then there are games like Monster Hunter Wilds, and we talked about that back in September when the PC specs first dropped, and I don't want to say one of the only people. There were definitely people, on social media and whatnot talking about it, but it was getting a lot of pushback when and this was pre-technical test, when you're looking at that game's system requirements, and if you just read the fine print on, oh, you need this GPU to run this game at 1080p, but that's with DLSS and frame gen enabled to get 60 frames per second. Oh, and by the way, it's at medium settings. That's where we're getting into problems. That's where DLSS, that's where frame gen is clearly being utilized as a crutch. And I also do question, what is going to be the generational leap in terms of the core hardware, generation to generation, if we are leaning towards AI? However, looking at this Tom Warren tweet, and this is where I was exposed to a lot of the various opinions, NVIDIA is revealing today that more than 80% of RTX GPU owners 20, 30, 40 series GPUs turn on DLSS in PC games. The stat reveal comes ahead of DLSS 4 that is dropping later this month. Now, From my experience, the majority of games that utilize DLSS have it enabled right when you launch the game. And I know you guys watching my videos are gonna be like, yeah, but I always go into the settings, I tinker around with the settings. Y'all, I'm telling you that there's a significant amount of people that literally just hit start game without ever tinkering the settings beforehand. That is a real thing, and over the last, I want to say, decade or so, my core friend group has become those that are, I wouldn't say casual gamers, but more so those that are in the middle of casual and the super hardcore that are watching my YouTube videos. I consider anybody that consumes my YouTube content to be more on the hardcore side. Then there's the super casual gamer that's buying NBA 2K every year and playing Fortnite all the time. Like, that's the super casual. And then there is a large array of people in the middle where I do feel like the majority of people do fall into. They regularly play video games. They have an idea of some of the games coming out, but they're not following release dates, month-to-month releases, so on and so forth, where a lot of those people who literally boot up a game, never mess with the settings, and jump right in. And all of my friends that I interact with these days are literally that. And I'm talking about around 7 people that I talk to regularly that play PC games. They'll adjust the settings if they get into a game and they realize their performance is really choppy or something like that. Otherwise, they don't mess with the settings. One of my boys that has a PlayStation 5 as well never even messes around with, oh, am I playing this game on performance mode or graphics mode? He just plays everything at 30 FPS, and then I'm just like, bro, are you playing that game at 30 FPS? And he's like, yeah, and I know he prefers 60 FPS, but it doesn't dawn on him to swap to the performance mode. But I digress. That is the reality. So that stat can be a little bit skewed, but I would imagine most people that have an RTX series GPU, y'all should be utilizing DLSS. I think it's great, but you know, I do see the comments of, oh, we're in the era of blurry visuals. It's just like, bro, if we're talking about DLSS offering straight blurry visuals, is it a one-to-one, replication of running the game native at 4K? Maybe not, but I personally, and this is going to be subjective from person to person, I don't think it's this far cry where we have to be up in arms about DLSS and the focus that DLSS is getting, because I do find it to be incredible from a tech standpoint. I do think we get into the murky area when it's used as a crutch, when it is used as an excuse to get away from optimizing your game. The game should first and foremost run really well on a top-level GPU. DLSS FSR, originally this was created to give older GPUs a longer shelf life. So if you have an RTX 2060 now, you can still utilize DLSS and you can play some newer games. I believe Indiana Jones, for example, just because that's one of the more technically impressive games, that game's minimum is an RTX 2060. Okay, you can still play a top-level game with a 2060. It should not be a case of recommended requirements have DLSS baked into it, or it's not clarified, and then come to find out DLSS is baked into it. No, if you want to release requirements that have DLSS FSR being utilized, you have to make that abundantly, and I reiterate, abundantly clear, and ideally you wouldn't want that to be the case at all. The requirement should be without DLSS and FSR, it should be complementary. Frame generation especially at this case. That's why the Monster Hunter Wild system requirements are so egregious, because frame gen is baked into the requirements. So what are we doing here? Frame gen at this point should not be baked into any requirements, and I do think there's reason for it to be getting this much focus, but I also do think that DLSS is going to cause a lot of confusion. Do you think any of those casual friends that I mentioned, like, again, it's anecdotal, but none of them know what the hell DLSS is, none of them know what FSR is, none of them know what frame generation is, this is all new stuff to them, and I want to say most of them, not all of my boys, but most of them have seen the 5070 is better than 4090 rhetoric, because a lot of them are looking to upgrade their video cards here soon, but they are not aware about things like DLSS. I'm telling you guys that exists, that audience, and that audience is the dominant audience, I feel, within PC gaming, that this type of technology creates incredible opportunities for NVIDIA and AMD to create crazy marketing ploys like the 5070 is better than the 4090, because look at how much traction that got on social media. That's the type of content that they're going to consume. They're not going to read the entire article. They're not going to watch a 10-minute YouTube video. They're going to read 5070 better than 4090. All right, I'm sold. Let me go buy the GPU. That's it. That's how I honestly feel, and I do think that's why it's important that we do, read the articles and inform ourselves before we make large purchases. But there's also this group of people that just have disposable income and they're gonna buy whatever, and they're not really gonna look into it much more than 5070 better than 4090. All right, GG, no read. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and yeah, interested to hear what you guys think. Again, I think it's incredible technology. I love DLSS. I'm probably never going to turn it off, but, it is something worth talking about, where the manipulation of DLSS, frame gen, FSR, that's something worth having a discussion about. Not necessarily the tech itself, the manipulation of the tech. What's a famous saying? With great power comes great responsibility, and I feel like that power is being a little misused right now, if you feel what I'm saying. But that'll do it for me. Again, your thoughts down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.